With the Roosters just about sewing up a top 2 spot on the APFL ladder, it leaves just one spot in the qualifying final, and the winner here this afternoon will be in the box seat as second place Mallala hosts third place Hummocks Watchman in an all-important contest. Welcome to Mallala Oval for the APFL Round 10 Match of the Round, proudly presented by Filming Footy. My name is Lewis McKenna. I have Dino here on the camera as well. I've been told that we may have a special commentator throughout, but regardless of that, super excited for this matchup. Really important for finals implications as we're now past the halfway point of this APFL season, and really important for both these sides to try and get a win. Hummocks desperately needing a win after a shock loss last week versus Virginia, losing to bottom place side Virginia at that time by 3 points, 91-88. The best for Hummocks in that one. Siegmund, Nottle, Taylor, Redpath, Carslake and Kelly. Siegmund with 3 goals, Studham, Kovacic and Wright with 2 apiece in that one. And it was Mallala who got a narrow victory over Balaclava in round 9, 56-51. Mallala's best in that one. Eckerman, Clements, Wilson, Heaslip, Baker and Olds. And the goal kickers, Wilson with 5 goals. Hennessy and Norman chipping in with a goal apiece as you see both teams go into the middle. Now, important to note here as well, the centre circle drawn closer to the near side. So effectively this closer wingman becomes that extra midfielder. They're only about 5 metres off the centre circle here. So obviously with the old cricket pitch there, becoming a little bit of a dirt heap in the middle. But Ruckman now in the middle. Olds the captain here for Mallala today, lining up for Mallala in the black and white pinstripes, in the prison bars we should say, not the pinstripes. And Hummocks Watchman in the striking yellow, blue and red. Ball up in the middle, underway for Filming Footy. It's the game of the week for the APFL, and there's been a free kick paid early here. Going in the middle is Samuel Clements. Goes a little 1-2 to start. Gets a couple early possessions and handballing it off. Now looking to go inside 50 through Heaslip. Little chipping ball over the top and a juggling mark is taken. Good mark taken in the end by McMahon. So decides to go long inside forward 50, top of the goal square and eventually dribbling away. Goes close to the boundary line and eventually gets there. So going to be hurled back in right over the far side here at Mallala Oval. And the weather so far here today is a bit of rain about early this morning. Not too much rain to speak of. The clouds have cleared over the last hour or so throughout the course of the reserves game. We'll talk about the results in a sec. Mallala trying to move the ball out through hand. Comes out the back, but Hummocks good enough to clear the ball back outside forward 50. Their defensive 50, I should say. And a good solid mark taken there by Bettis. So just stopping, propping and thinking. Looked corridor, but decides to go long down the line instead. And Olds with a brilliant mark at the front of the pack. Good courageous mark taken. Little chipping ball across. And good mark taken by Heaslip. Just chips the ball out wide once again. In fact, there's actually been a free kick paid off the ball. So Olds will get it back. Chips the ball inside forward 50 and good lead up at the mark. Gets another opportunity here. Does McMahon a little closer to goal. So reserves had a fantastic win as well for Mallala. A comprehensive victory, it must be said. 84-12. Just dominating Hummocks Watchman. Also a second versus third matchup in the reserves. A really important win for Mallala to stay up the top 2. As we see McMahon rolling in right on the outer side. Got to watch the goal umpire in this one. And just fades off through for a minor score. So the first score on the Sportal scoreboard today here for Mallala. They're on the board first with one straight behind. And they look to move it quickly, Hummocks. Haven't had too much of the ball through the first couple minutes in this one on the outer side, and a whistle's been blown here, going to be brought back. Maybe just went over the boundary line for a throw in. So about to be hurled back in. Quickly now moving it through hands once again. Mallala going back inside forward 50. Nearly a mark taken there in front. Does fall in front for the forwards to be able to get to work, trying to handball out the back and snapping around the body towards goal. Drop mark there, just in front of the behind post. Would have been a critical mark to take, and a little chipping ball for Hummocks here is good mark by Taylor. Looks to move it quickly and going up the corridor. Good little chipping ball. So now just looking here in a precarious position Does go a little more centrally, falls out the back of the pack here, and Mallala quickly onto it first. They have the numbers. Just struggling to pick the ball up. Olds is eventually onto it, but drops the ball at his feet and quickly surged upon and wrapped up in a tackle with Siegmund. So thank you for joining us. Of course, we've got the stream partners here. You're watching on Filming Footy, Dartfish, Sportal Scoreboard, of course, bringing you all the scores today. Classic Catches, Filming Footy. Archie's thongs to the Archie's player of the game. As a free kick's been played here to Mallala. A good solid mark taken there by King. Going to the outer side, trying to find an option out the back. Well intercepted there by Hummocks to knock it to ground. And another whistle's being blown here, so a free kick going back to Hummocks. Just to finish off the stream partners, custom by ORTC, High Five e-bikes and Kimberley Accommodation Group, doing a fantastic job to bring you this footage here today. Of course, Dino doing a brilliant job on the camera as well. There's a long ball down the line, centre wing here, coming over the back. Mark couldn't be ripped down in the end there by Mallala. Gets knocked down in front. It was a good effort there by Jack May, but he's quickly wrapped up in a tackle, and it's going to be balled up here on the near side of Mallala Oval. A lot of clouds here in the background, but certainly cleared up here in the last few minutes. Trying to crash through there. Couldn't quite take it through there. Hummocks through the hands of Hocking and knocked to ground. So going to ball it up back in this same position. Ruckman going at it. Knocked down there by Harkness, the vice-captain. Out the back trying to get the hands out there was Wildboar, the under-16. Interesting one, Hamish Wildboar. He's a Woodville West Torrens under-16, but playing in the APFL Senior Colts under-17s. He's kicked 15 goals in 5 games. Impossible to ignore him as Hummocks get the ball back going inside forward 50, but a solid mark taken by Zach Eckerman. So the first inside 50 there for Hummocks, but only really went to about the 48-metre mark, and a good ball inside. Mark's taken by teammate in Clements, moving it to the outer side. They've really had a great deal of the ball here, the Magpies, but they do turn it over there straight back into the lap of Hummocks. So just mentioned that Hummocks desperately needing a win here. Just lost one. They faced Mallala earlier in the season. It was their biggest win of the year. It was actually the first game we called here on Filming Footy. And it was a solid victory all the way back in round 3, 122-34. As I mentioned, their largest win of the season so far for a team that has basically lived up the top end of the ladder in Hummocks, but just starting to get shaky towards the back end of the year. Long down the line looking for Olds here, and a brilliant mark taken. Looked to cut it into the corridor, but well intercepted by Hummocks. Knocking it to ground, falling out the back. Olds is still going to work. Did an excellent job handballing it off and going inside 50. One-on-one contest, falls out the back. Still trying to beat it to the floor. Mallala here underneath and wrapped up in a tackle, but it was good work getting inside forward 50 there by Jake Tiller. And in fact, there has been a free kick paid here, so maybe a little bit of a push in the back action there. And it will be an opportunity here for Mallala to try and convert on their first goal. Straight in front, only has to kick this one about 30 metres. And it will come off the boot of Brad Wilson, unsurprisingly so. 23 goals this season as it is on his back as well. 23 goals for the season, trying to make it 24. And does put it through for a major, just snuck it through. Umpire had to do a little bit of work to get there, but it is the first goal on the Sportal scoreboard for Mallala. They now move to 7 points on the Sportal scoreboard through the boot of Wilson. 24 goals on the season as well. That now moves him into sole second place on the goal-kicking leaderboard so far in the APFL season. So Mallala now with a 7-point advantage here, 7 minutes gone. And a chance to obviously talk about our APFL partners as well. Viswater, Sports Power, Zorich Group, Sharon, Belgravia Apparel, Synergy Signs, Mango Inc., McCracken, Ford Balaclava, and the Plains Producer. Gets knocked down inside, and Hummocks do need to try and find a clearance here. They don't want to get this game away from them early. Picked up inside there by Harkness, but wrapped up in a tackle straight away. So the ruckman to go at it once again. Bit of push and shove there underneath, and eagle-eyed onto it are the umpires. Trying to, don't argue, maybe just caught him a little high and said you did give away your prior opportunity by trying to fend off, drop the ball. So a little chipping ball, just went the required distance, you feel. Comes to the outer side, trying to pick it up there underneath was Betes. Did well to try and evade the tackle, beats another, handballs it over the top, but puts his teammate under the pump. Maybe just dropped the ball out the back there. Samuel Clements, it eventually finds the boundary line right here in front of the camera. So to be hurled back in here, Hummocks really looking to respond. Ruckman to go at it once again, gets knocked down in front, quickly picking it up there underneath was Jordan Clements. Now underneath, not really making too much of an effort to get it out there underneath, and I have to now move it back inside forward 50. So they go now, Hummocks Watchman, inside, just through the hands. Trying to get a little handball out there, but wrapped up quickly in a tackle by Riley Thorne. Going to be balled up here about 35 metres out from Hummocks goal. As far as they've been down the ground. Quickly hacking it out, couldn't quite get it there. Into the hands of Hummocks now. They're snapping around the body from 45 close to goal. One-on-one in the goal square. Gets knocked down in front, and Mallala just going to bumble the ball over the boundary line through for a rush behind. So first score on the Sportal scoreboard for Hummocks Watchman now 7-1. But some solid movement there for Hummocks as quickly wrapped up in a tackle there underneath, and a free kick has been paid. Quick chipping ball out to Olds has been really busy so far in this one. Little lateral ball, just moving it by hand now through King. Tried the don't argue, got a handball out, but really didn't put his teammate in an advantageous position, and Tiller wrapped up in a tackle. So no prior opportunity, going to be balled up. Once again in the centre square. Good ruck work to knock it down in front. Going back inside forward 50 though, Hummocks. Couldn't quite get to the fall of the ball there was May. Just retreats back outside defensive 50, and on the paint of the centre square it's going to be balled up once again. And there has been another whistle blown, so the umpire off the play, just paying a free kick here once again. So looking for an option here inside is Yelland. Little chipping ball to the outer side, and it's a good solid weighted kick into the lap of Studham. It looks like he's pretty confident here. Decides to play on though from the paint of 50. Corralled well, so has to chip a ball inside, and it is a good kick. Had the numbers there, Hummocks, but just took out a player underneath there, and courageous work from Sam Angus to sit underneath it and draw the free kick. So Angus decides to go straight up the guts of the ground at Mallala Oval, falls out the back, trying to get a bit of room there was Liam McMorr, and maybe just held onto before he could get it. And that should be 25. Cheekily tried to throw it up into the clouds. Just an undisciplined 25, and that may be a second 25, it seems here. So they have given him a fair distance, McMorr, and now gives him a chance to line up a goal. Undisciplined work there from the Eagles. So he now stands just outside the paint of 50. We only have to kick it from about 35, 30 metres. And McMorr, an opportunity to try and convert on just his second goal of the season. On his way in now, sends it on its way, splits the middle. And they get around him. Fantastic goal for Liam McMorr, the second goal of the afternoon for Mallala, now moving to a 12-point advantage. And as I mentioned, his second goal of the season, a really important one for him to get it underway. And just undisciplined work there from Hummocks Watchman, giving away back-to-back 25-metre penalties, just allowed McMorr to get to work. So he's now got 1-1 on the afternoon, a busy start for him up forward. And certainly a contender early on for the Archie Stongs player of the game, but plenty of time to go in this one. We thank you for joining us on your Saturday afternoon. Another chance to talk about our partners at Mallala's main sponsors here today, making it fantastic, making it possible to be able to have our call here for you this afternoon. Advanced Contractors, Gracewood, Elders Roseworthy, BTR Excavations, of course, and Spence Dixon Co, as you can see on the back of most of their Guernseys. Chipping it across, and just fell through the hands there of the Hummocks player, Olds. Trying to handball it off there to McMorr. Busy once again. Those two, I've called their names plenty already in the first 13 minutes of this one. So centre wing outer side. Olds once again in the ruck. Maybe a little bit of a free kick paid here to Olds. So, in fact, going the other way, Olds giving it away. Handballing it off there was Light. Little chipping ball over the top, but intercepted. So just turning it over once again. Little dribbling ball, just controlled. Going back towards forward 50. Just falling over the top there. Light couldn't take the mark. It was Wilson behind him who got the spoil. It's going to be balled up just inside the forward 50 here for Mallala. Threatening to build on this advantage. Currently 13-1 on the Sportal scoreboard. Olds once again in the ruck against Light. Wilson gets a hand on it. Tries to knock it down. Eventually comes out the back. Now moving inside forward 50. Snapping around their body. Going towards goal. Have they put it through for another one? I think they have. Fantastic work there underneath. That's going to be Wilson once again with a goal. Fantastic forward craft. Just got out there at the back and found himself in a little bit of room there, Brad Wilson. There's a reason why he's one of the leading goal kickers in this competition, and have off to a fast start here. Mallala doing a fantastic job on the Sportal scoreboard. Now out to an 18-point advantage. Really fast start for them. They haven't really had an opportunity, Hummocks, to get it inside their forward 50 too often. But Wilson with his second goal. So now back in the middle. Hummocks really need to respond here, you'd think. Already given away a 3-goal advantage. Ruckman go at it, knocks down in front by Light. Does fall to ground and quickly surged upon there in the middle was Jake Tiller. So knocked down out the back. No one yet to pick it up. Eventually does get picked up inside by Samuel Clements. Just chips it to the outer side and it's a foot race to the ball. Out the back there and quickly getting it to it with the Hummocks players. Chipping it around. Eventually tackled to the ground and about 20 players surge on top of the footy. Umpire yet to blow his whistle, does now, and going to ball it up. So Mallala well and truly got the advantage so far here. Gets knocked down. Just hacking around his body and going back towards forward 50 through the hands of McMahon. Needs to quickly get a chipping ball away there through Taylor. Now back on centre wing. Hummocks just can't get any uncontested ball going here at the moment, and it's going to be another ball up on the outer side. So the weather so far here today, a cool 13 degrees, a little bit of a breeze heading to the left-hand side. So it's actually favouring Hummocks slightly, but hasn't really worked to their advantage just yet. Now going inside forward 50, one-on-one ball, does fall out the back. Hummocks done well here to control and eventually walking it through for a minor score, rush behind. So now 20 points on the scoreboard here for Mallala, holding a 19-point advantage on the Sportal scoreboard, as they look to now retreat back out of their defensive 50, but it has effectively lived down there for Mallala here at the moment. So 20-1 on the Sportal scoreboard. Trying to move a risky ball over the top, and mark needed to be taken for Hummocks and was by Brendan Taylor. Decides to go back through the corridor. Little chipping ball over the top, but it was swatted away. Well done there by Jake Tiller. Now set upon inside, and it's going to be a ball up back inside forward 50 here for Mallala. So even when a really good mark was taken by Taylor, they just another sloppy turnover here for Hummocks. Quickly hacking it out of the pack, and sitting underneath it was Dale King. So he'll go back inside forward 50 once again, you'd think. Now going inside and finding someone on the lead, just beating the outstretched hands there and going out of bounds there. Wilson had another opportunity to try and mark and convert on his third of the first quarter. Going to be hurled back in quickly. Light there underneath, knocked down by Olds. Wilson dribbling one towards, picked up by McMahon, and he snapped around his body and put it through. What a brilliant goal there. Quick thinking, and the reaction time from hand to foot was absolutely fantastic for McMahon, and he's now kicked his second of the first quarter. Just dominating up forward, those two in McMahon and Wilson. 25-point advantage on the Sportal scoreboard, and worry signs here so far for Hummocks Watchman. 26 plays 1. We're only 17 minutes gone through the game. So I'll have to chase up more about Liam McMore's story. Only 1 goal on the season. Now already moved to 3 through 17 minutes here in the first quarter. Back inside. Gets knocked down. Moving the ball by hands. Really quick ball movement by Hummocks to go back inside forward 50. Here's their opportunity there and holding on. Here's their opportunity to try and convert on a goal through Cody Duncan. Also one of the league's best goal kickers, Cody Duncan. 23 goals on the season. And has an opportunity here from about 30 in front. Also was tied for 3rd for goal kicking coming into this one with teammate Jamie Kovacic. And of course, up the other end of the ground, Brad Wilson also coming in with 23. He's now on 25. But Cody Duncan, as easy as you like, puts it through his first goal, and that might just be what Hummocks need. Really important goal there for Duncan and the Eagles. And the first goal on the Sportal scoreboard for Hummocks now makes it a 19-point advantage. 26 plays 7 on the Sportal scoreboard. 19 minutes gone in this one, so he's been named in the best players 3 times this season, Cody Duncan. A league representative as well a few weeks ago in the Interleague, the Nutrient Ag Cup, where unfortunately Adelaide Plains did come 4th out of 4 teams there, but certainly provided some highlights. Some of the best players in this competition. Plenty of players actually between these two sides representing, so they know each other well. Handballing it back out to Dale King through Mallala, now trying to go back towards their half of the ground where it's lived much of this game. But Hummocks have the numbers here, as eventually it does dribble out of bounds offhand. So it's going to be hurled back in about 80 metres around from Mallala's goal. So it gets balled in pretty quickly, gets knocked down in front by Light, just holding his ground. A little handball over the top. Trying to just move it through. Olds was good. Moved it by hand, but couldn't quite find a target, and umpire blowing his whistle. Going to be balling it up here. Right on the paint of 50. So Light and Olds. Light gets the advantage that time, taps it down. Olds there, finds a little bit of room, but a whistle's been blown here for holding on. An opportunity to try line up a goal here for Mallala. It looks like it's going to come through Timothy Atkins, so maybe a little too far out to score, you'd think. It doesn't look like he's too confident to take it on. So puts it up close to the teeth of goal, right to the top of the goal square, gets knocked out behind and over the boundary line offhand. So still in a dangerous position here for Hummocks. Don't want to lose a goal here. Late-ish in this first quarter. They've fought back hard in these last few minutes. So once again in the ruck contest. Knocked down there. Comes out the back, and Hummocks do have the numbers to try and move it through hand. A brilliant work to move it through the corridor. Little chipping ball over the top, finds Duncan. Has to get to work quickly. A little handball off and going back inside forward 50. They have the numbers and they just have to beat it to the ball through Take Noddle. Fumbles once, eventually picks it up. Good tackle there on the outer side, but good enough to get the handball down. One-on-one ball here, and good mark taken. Good forward craft. Got his hand up and just put it into a position where he could finish off the job. And a ripping work there from Brodie Hocking. And he should pop through the second goal of the first quarter here for Hummocks, and they have come storming back into this one. Ripping work there from Noddle and Hocking, I should say, sorry. So Hocking through for his first goal of the afternoon on the Sportal scoreboard now. Moves to 26, plays 13. And a brilliant work from Hocking. So his 7th goal of the season. Mallala now with just the 13-point advantage when they threatened to blow it out a little further. But brilliant forward craft there. And brilliant work by the midfielders for Hummocks just to be able to work their way through the corridor and just take the first option every single time. So back in the middle. Light and Olds, it's been an interesting matchup so far. Certainly Olds has got more of the ball, but Light has an advantage in the ruck, it seems, at times. Little chipping ball to the outer side. Has a little bit of time to work and eventually corrals the ball through Bates. Little handball to the outer side through James Daly, the captain. Little handball out, but they do turn the ball over through Olds. A little chipping ball, one-on-one contest, falls out the back. Now moving on to it, trying to move the ball by hand, Hummocks, but they do turn the ball over. Does come out the back of the contest here. Now deep in defensive 50 for Hummocks and wrapped up in a tackle close to the boundary line. It's going to be balled up. Ruckman to go at it once again. Light gets the tap down. Just into the hands of Mallala. Forwards though, but turning the ball over and eventually walking it over the boundary line was Hugh Walker. Hurling it in quickly, comes out the back, little snap around the body. Couldn't quite get it close to goal, and there has been a whistle blown here. Free kick going to the Hummocks defender in Quinn McKay. Just moves the ball laterally and they come here to the near side, chipping the ball over the top, and marks taken by Hugh Walker. Going long down the line, sees something he likes close to the boundary line. Was a risky kick, but a whistle's been blown here. Free kick going here to Mallala. Looks as if Olds is going to be the one to take it. So Olds certainly a contender for the player of the game, presented with some super comfy Archie's thongs at the end of it. Bombs a long ball inside forward 50. Comes out the back there. No player able to take it out of the contest, and looks as if he's going to be wrapped up once again underneath, and is. So once again on the paint of 50, they're going to hurl it up once more. Gets knocked down by Light, but straight into the lap of Mallala to go back inside forward 50, but it was a solid smother. Moving the ball out through hand by Brendan Taylor. Lateral handball out, and they're able to move it to the outer side. Duncan over the back. Maybe thought there was a bit of contact there. No whistle blown. Now a 2-on-2 contest here as the players converge on top of it. Trying to pick it up out of the contest. Had his hands free. There was Cody Redpath, but umpire says, I'll ball it up. Light gets the tap down once again and quickly wrapped up in a tackle there underneath was Tiller. Light, fantastic tap down, but eventually, and again, Mallala just intercepting and reading it better in the midfield. Bouncing ball, eventually read by Hummocks. Moving the ball out, and an extra handball dribbling down, finding a little bit of space to chip it up to a contest once again on the outer side. Olds beating to it. Close to the boundary line, has to move onto his left foot. Little dribbling ball is good, and eventually intercepted in defensive 50 by Heaslip. Wanted to take off the 45-degree ball, but instead decides to move it laterally. They did have the option to the outer side through Hugh Walker, but they decided to go a little bit longer, and this is going to be a risky ball because that is intercepted in the end by Charlie Baker. And the whistles, the siren's been blown, so this will be a tricky kick here for Baker. 4 times named in the best for Mallala so far this season through 9 rounds. Only has the 2 goals on the season. We'll have to give this every bit he's got. Sends it on its way. It is fading off left and won't quite make the distance, but did give it a fair hoof in the end, as that brings us to quarter time of what's been a ebbing and flowing contest here at Mallala Oval. Second place, third, of course, Mallala in second place, jumping Hummocks Watchman after their defeat to Virginia last year. And 26-13, it started out a really strong contest here. 26-1 though, it was the advantage for Mallala. The last 2 goals falling the way of Hummocks. Goal kickers so far in this one was Wilson and McMahon, with 2 goals apiece for Mallala, getting it done up forward. And a couple contributors here for Hummocks. Cody Duncan 1 goal and Brody Hocking with a goal as well. As teams go to their huddles, they'll have a conversation about what needs to change in the second quarter, and we'll go to a break as well. We'll be right back with all the second quarter action. Back here at Mallala Oval, second quarter about to start. Really important matchup for both of these sides. Currently Mallala, it's a 13-point advantage, 26 plays 13, but it doesn't really tell the full picture. It was a really hot start for Mallala. Got the first 4 goals of the second quarter, and Hummocks Watchman come back into the contest and now drawn it back to a reasonably close game. So back in the middle, umpire holds the ball aloft, ready to get back underway. If you just joined us, goal kickers in this one, Wilson and McMorr for Mallala with 2 apiece. 1 each for Duncan and Hocking for the Eagles. There's Mallala going to the left of your screen. Big contest there, players running into each other. A couple of Magpies just drawing bodies as Olds dribbles the ball down and intercepted. Hummocks good enough to move the ball out, and really ripping kick there by Redpath. Mark taken by Jude. Little chipping ball over, and Carslake taking the mark. Had the short option, but decides to go a little longer and a little more into the corridor. Leading up at the footy, couldn't quite take the mark, gets knocked down in front and quickly set upon in a tackle there was Mallala. Coming out the back there through hands, it was a little bit of a hot footy. Leading up at the footy there was Wilson, and eventually knocking Redpath to the ground, falling over the boundary. There's actually a free kick there to eventually to Redpath. So Redpath tries to balk around him and does well. Takes a little bit of distance and cuts the ball inside, and well-weighted kick going inside forward 50. And just going down to one knee like he was proposing and just eventually dropping into his lap. Solid mark taken by Studham. 14 goals on the season. He's a league representative a few weeks ago for the Adelaide Plains Footy League in the Nutrien Ag Cup. Has to put a fair bit on this, has to kick it all about 50 metres, but no real breeze to speak of here at the moment. Pops it up in there, gonna go close, but just fades right through for a minor score. So the second minor score for Hummocks here this afternoon, the first score of the second quarter, 26 plays 14 on the Sportal scoreboard. As Mallala look to retrieve the ball back to as a start. So now just an even 2-goal difference. Probably where you expected this game to be at the start. You probably gave the edge to Mallala based on recent form. But Hummocks certainly an opportunity in this one as Dale King goes long to the outer side. A big fist there falling down in front, but well corralled. Pushed in the back after he kicked it, but no whistle. Falling out the back there, and Redpath, as there was a late whistle blown eventually, so maybe they did pay the free kick. Chipping the ball inside here, Mallala, Sam Angus. Decides to go all the way across, and a bad, shocking bounce there. Just has a bit of work to do, but a ripping tackle laid there by Studham. Had the numbers against him and called for holding the ball, so brilliant work by the Hummocks Watchman Eagles. Henry Wright in the end doing the brunt of it, going inside forward 50 now. Dangerous position, falling out the back. Now it's a little bit of a foot race to the ball. Who can be cleaner with it? Moving out through hands, and it was Mallala. A little cleaner through Sam Clements. Now retreating out of the defensive 50 and going long down the boundary. In fact, it was just a short little dribbler ball. I thought he was going to go long. Chipping ball to the boundary, going close, eventually getting knocked over through the hands of McMorr. And going to be hurled back in. So what started as a bit of a dreary day here in Mallala has turned quite a nice, beautiful weather day with nice blue skies now poking through as Studham a little dribbling ball inside the corridor. Picked up well and going inside forward 50. It's going to be a one-on-one contest here. Falling at the back, couldn't quite take the mark. Now it's all about who comes and tries to help the contest, but it's going to be the umpire who beats them all to it with the whistle first. The ruckman to go at it once again, gets knocked down inside, but to no one's advantage really. So the ball's just sitting there and everyone's doing a little bit of a dance around it. And going to be balled up once again, this time a little closer to the boundary. Olds did well to get the hit out, but maybe taken down without the ball here, Hummocks, and they're going to get a shot at goal once again. I believe this is going to be through Studham once more. Already had an opportunity, but no, actually, no. Called ball up. Thought he was taken down off the ball. And eventually tackled around the boundary line. Called for holding the ball. Mallala get the free kick here. So, good tackle made. So just looking to survey his options. Look to go one way, look to go the other. Turns around again. Eventually had an option to go inside, and they've dribbled a ball on the floor now into the advantage of Hummocks. Trying to pick the ball up and trying to have an opportunity at goal here, but no one can be clean with it. This ball is just living on the floor here, as eventually it falls into the lap of King, who's able just to hack a ball out of defensive 50. Eventually dribbles the ball around, and leading to the footy there is Brandon Taylor. But also around it is one of the best goal scorers in the league in Brad Wilson, but the boundary beats them all and eventually goes over. So, hurling it in, gets knocked down by Olds. Mallala have the ability to try and move it by hand. Comes out the back there, and the captain for Hummocks picking it up. Handballing it off and going back inside. Nice little nifty handball by Siegmund, but couldn't quite get it anywhere. Olds picks it up, tries to put it up towards his forward, and he has to go to work now. Wilson, balks one, goes inside forward 50. Mallala now chance, one-on-one opportunity here, top of the square. Comes out the back and eventually picked up well, and they'll retreat through Quinn McKay. Little chipping ball over the top. Oh, big hit. Players going at each other, falls out the back, and a free kick's been paid. So a free kick here for Mallala. Solid hit there beforehand as a little handball off and eventually into the lap of Tiller. A little closer to goal. Tiller doesn't like his chances, so pops it up to the top of the square. Comes out the back. Mallala still have the numbers. Falling out the back there, and he slipped. Tried to balk around one, eventually tackled to the ground. Umpire said he didn't have too much of an opportunity, so going to ball it up here once again. Really dangerous position. Mallala an opportunity to try and kick their first goal in some time. Coming out the back there, Daly, and he just hacks it back out once again. But Mallala falling back and taking the mark. Baker going back inside forward 50. A pack converges, falling out the back, picking it up, and a little handball over the top was good. Extra little handball was good, and turning it over, snapping around his body close to goal, comes across the face and over the boundary line. No score registered, so maybe just come off hands and it'll be hurled back in here. So neither team really clean with the ball here at the moment, as it looks as if there may have been a free kick paid here. No, in fact, they're actually going to ball it back in once again. So hurling it back in, getting knocked down in front, a little bit of body work there, but nothing paid and wrapped up in a tackle, but actually hanging on after the whistle. So a bad free kick paid there against Hennessy. So Hummocks looking here to the near side. Go a little more into the middle, and Olds over the top takes down the grab. Quickly looks to go back inside forward 50. Oh, big pack converges, eventually falls to the ground, taken out of the air there by Carslake and wrapped up in a tackle quickly. So both teams' pressure is up. But that is causing a lot of mistakes from both sides. That means a low scoring contest when it's this sloppy. Snapping around his body, going close to goal, and falling back with it, nearly taking the mark, and eventually actually did kick that out on the full. So Hummocks will get the ball back. Little chipping ball over, and mark's taken by Studham. So just looking to see if they can stop and find a little bit of uncontested ball, but instead they have to bomb it straight back up. Olds is climbing up for it, couldn't quite rip down the mark. Wrapped up in a tackle quickly, just eventually falls out the back. Harkness, little handball out into the lap of a teammate. Now moving it around. Good little kick by Henry Wright, chipping it into the middle, and Yelland has to just put it out into space in front of his teammate. which is Bateste trying to get there. Eventually does pick it up and moves inside forward 50. Pops it up close to goal, falling out the back. Nearly taking the mark there was Duncan, but I think he's been paid a free kick and has. It was brilliant positioning by him and does eventually get credited. So he's going to have to be marched around here on a bit of an angle. And in fact, maybe there's been a 25 paid here as well. So that'll mean he's able just to waltz in and kick the easiest goal he'll ever kick. Cody Duncan, as easy as you like. Pops it through. So another goal here for Hummocks. And they now draw that little bit closer. 26 now, plays 20 on the Sportal scoreboard. It's Mallala with a 6-point advantage. They've come storming back into this one. And the second goal of the afternoon for Duncan. So Duncan now with 2. Becomes the third multiple goal scorer in this one. Forwards getting it done, and he now matches Brad Wilson on 25 goals on the season. And if you've just joined us, it'll be worth reminding you that it did start as a 26-1 margin for Mallala to start this game. Now 3 straight goals here, unanswered for Hummocks Watchman, just storming back into this one. Handballing it out the back was Siegmund. Maybe kicking in danger there and was eventually called. So Mallala have a chance to go back inside forward 50. But these entries, since halfway through the first quarter, they've really struggled with them. Chipping the ball out, Samuel Clements. Thorne. And now Heaslip. Good kick, weighted to Olds. A little too far out to score here. About 55 from home. Thought about the lateral ball. Does go laterally, but just inside forward 50 and just went the required distance to Samuel Clements. Plays on, goes to the top of the goal square, pack forming. Was looking for his key forward there in Wilson. Comes out the front, and Hummocks now to try and retreat. Studham goes bombing it through the centre square. Coming out the back, and good mark taken. Mallala once again causing the turnover. Chipping ball to the outer side, and he has to try and corral this ball. Eckerman has some Hummocks players just breathing down his neck. Little handball out the back for Trevor. Handball's back. Well done, and a good solid kick there once again by Eckerman. Baker. Little chipping ball across to King. King just bombing it straight inside forward 50. Sees something he likes. Comes inside, and once again they're able to retreat. Yelland. Handball off. Little chipping ball over. It's going to be a dangerous one. Once again picked off by Tiller. So here we go again. Back inside forward 50. Big fist coming over the top there by Mackay. Just ducking and weaving and getting under the pack, and a whistle's being blown here. Looks as if there may have been some high contact. So it looks as if there is. So it's going to be a free kick paid here to Asher Mead. Maybe it was a free and a 25, it looks like. So gives Asher Mead an opportunity to try and convert Mallala's first goal in quite some time. First goal since the 17-minute mark of the first quarter. On its way, Asher Mead, as he got the distance, it goes close. There was a bit of contact from something on the goalpost, and it has been called. I believe he signalled a goal there for Asher Mead, so it went really, really close, but the goal umpire says that it's going to be credited for a goal. Confused just about everyone here. The Hummocks defenders are a little furious about that, but just carried the distance there for Mead, and a really important goal, as I just mentioned. The first goal since the 17-minute mark for Mallala, and now back out to a 12-point advantage. 32 plays 20 on the Sportal scoreboard with 13 minutes gone. So, really important goal for Mead, his 5th of the season. See in the middle. Underneath there. Gets tapped down inside. Quickly wrapped up in a tackle. So going to be balled up once again. Well done by the ruckman, just to rip it out of the ruck and pump it back inside forward 50. Falls out the back, and look at this. Look at the foot speed to try and get away. Handballs it off to Olds, who runs into open goal and puts in a really important one. They now improve, and brilliant work from Olds. Cale Olds, the captain, brilliant work, his first goal of the afternoon, and he's been really, really handy. One of the best players to start out for Mallala, now moving out to an 18-point advantage. 38 plays 20 on the Sportal scoreboard. Now 14 minutes gone. Back-to-back goals just to try and stretch this out for Mallala. I'd be really disappointed with that Hummocks, just letting that slip out a little bit. They fought so hard to get back into this game. They got as close as 6 points just a few minutes ago. Now back out to that 3 goals. Of course, second place third on the APFL ladder. Two Wells just about sewn up that top spotters. It come as a surprise to no one. Clements trying to find an option and through the hands of Jack Heaslip. But eventually back onto it, moving inside forward 50. And what a brilliant kick through the hands of McMaw. It was almost picture perfect footy. Just couldn't quite pull down the mark, but it's going to be a ball up about 25 out from Mallala's goal. Lights in the ruck against Olds. Call that a 50-50 split. Comes out the back and neither player able to get it. King handballing out the back and through the hands of his teammate. But Hummocks now a chance to go back inside forward 50, a one-on-one contest. Duncan's there and there's been a whistle blown. Free kick against Cody Duncan this time. Didn't have an opportunity to try and convert on his third goal for the afternoon. But he'd love that situation, being in that one-on-one contest, and it was well worked just to win that one. King has an option short. Good mark taken by Baker. Chips the ball over the top, and brilliant weighted ball by Tippett. Handballs it over the top, try to get a handball out there, was wild ball and just got caught with the illegal disposal, the under 16. Has a little short ball inside and eventually gets it there to Daly. And James Daly, the captain, a league representative a few weeks ago, chipping the ball over the top, and now the ball's in space. Trying to get onto it. They have the numbers here, Hummocks, to try and move it around, but inside there was wrapped up in a tackle. And so once again, 50 metres out here. Hummocks, really important they try and get this opportunity, get this goal to bring it back to 2. Inside, Duncan in the ruck, knocks it down, but not really to anyone's advantage. Eventually falls out the back, and Hummocks now a chance to go towards goal. Little chipping ball just out of reach there of Henry Wright, and eventually goes out on the full. So Eckerman to retreat here for Mallala. 18 minutes gone here, second quarter. You're watching live and free on Filming Footy. And once again, they seem to just have polished themselves up here, Mallala, a little bit with their ball movement. May. Right on cue, they just dribble a little ball up the wing. Falls through all hands, but they've still got the numbers here. They move it back through wild ball. Little chipping ball over the top. This might work here for Mallala. Lights falling onto it. Through a few hands there, underneath, Wilson gets tackled and eventually tackled, didn't have the ball at all, maybe should have been reversed. Going inside, but Light turning the ball over. Mark taken by Clements. He goes right up the middle of the ground and turned back over to Hugh Walker of the Eagles. Going to the outer side now. Hummocks have got the numbers here, so they just need to be clean with their ball movement through hand. Good little extra hand pass out there through Hocking. Still really flicking it around without going anywhere. So they have to retreat. Just dancing around, going back inside. Really good tackle, holding the ball. Great tackle for Jesse Trevor. Has to hand the ball back. Hummocks there, and 25-metre penalty being paid here as well. A few of those already handed out so far in this one. Not tolerating too much. The umpires in this one. So Trevor sees something he likes across the other side of the ground. And mark taken. He does have an extra opportunity. So just sends the left peg all the way out to Riley Thorne. Just sends one in front of his leading forward and eventually dribbling over the boundary line. About 45 metres around from Mallala's goal. Now with a 3-goal advantage. 6-2 plays 3-2 on the Sportal scoreboard. So Ruckman to go at it. Olds knocks it down in front. Really clean pick up there underneath by Heaslip. Hands it back out. Tiller goes inside forward. 50. Marked by Wilson. Goal by Wilson. As easy as you like for Mallala. They now move out to a 4-goal advantage. And brilliant work there from Mallala right from the tap. It was tapped down by Olds. Fantastic pick up by Heaslip. Tiller did the work to get it inside, but it's been brilliant work all the way around here for Mallala, now moving out to that advantage. 44 plays 20 on the Sportal scoreboard, and certainly a contender for goal of the day, no doubt there for Wilson. He kicks his third, now moves to 26 on the season. And Mallala out to that 24-point advantage. They did have a 25-point advantage, which was game high at the 17-minute mark of the first quarter, so nearing that point. Hummocks still well and truly in this, but they need to stop players doing exactly this. Moving inside forward 50, picked up by the captain in Daly. He just moves his way inside and has to hack a ball in, but Dale King's left alone, so he picks up a loose ball and hacks it inside forward 50, falls through a few, comes out the back, he slips, done well. Extra little handball out, and they're going to waltz in close to goal once again, snapping around and putting it through. Sam Angus in for a goal. And here they go, Mallala, now out to a 30-point advantage on the Sportal scoreboard. And they are just turning it on here in the late stages here of the second quarter. 50 plays 20 on the Sportal scoreboard. 21 minutes gone. They have just turned on the Jets. Just really, Mallala, they only led by 6 at the 10-minute mark of this one. So 11 minutes have gone. They put on 4 straight. So now's the time for Hummocks. Underneath, an extra little punching ball out the top there. Underneath by Wildboar. Comes out the back. Hamish Wildboar now has to turn around onto his left. Just puts it up into space. Leading straight up at it. Wilson just turns around onto his left. Just has to pop a high ball up. It's going to stay in the field of play. Mark not quite picked up. Snapping around the body close to goal, but couldn't quite put it through was Braden Tippett. So Tippett through for a minor score. 31-point advantage now for Mallala. So 51 plays 20 on the Sportal scoreboard. Hummocks desperate for a response here. Chipping ball over the top and Noddle taking the mark. Had the short option in Walker, but decides to chip it all the way around. Now sends a long ball down the line. It's a risky kick towards the captain, but a good mark taken by Daly. Finds an option short, but falls out the back. King just lands in his lap once again. Little chipping ball, and they look to move it quickly. Mallala inside forward 50, leading up at the footy, but sitting underneath it there was Trevor. And he'll have an opportunity once again to convert. So Jesse Trevor had a brilliant tackle a moment ago as well. 5 goals on the season. This one to really put him up. Already a game high 31. It's a bit of a wobbling ball. Goes close to goal. Is it got it all the way there? And they say it's a goal. Once again, just getting over the goal line. And they get it through Jesse Trevor, his first goal of the afternoon. And they have absolutely put their foot on the gas here, Mallala, in the second quarter. Now out to a 37-point advantage. Must be reminded that Hummocks Watchman put a number on Mallala in round 3 of this season, defeating them 122-34. This result almost turned on its head. Of course, with Mallala sitting in second spot on the ladder. Fantastic work for them. So now out to a 37-point advantage. Hummocks barely able to get it inside their forward 50 in the last 10 minutes of this one. Quickly tackled there underneath was Henry Wright. Ruckman, probably both holding each other there underneath was Olds and Wright. Quickly trying to turn his way through a tackle, but wrapped up quickly. So just centre wing here going to be balled up. Once again, the Ruckman just tangling themselves like a game of twister. Comes out the back there, couldn't quite get the clean pick up was Atkins. And once again, umpire says it's mine. So siren should go any moment in this second quarter. There have been plenty of goals, so a little bit of time on you would expect. Wild ball, turning his way onto the footy, collects a big ball, but look at him go, the youngster, just trying to get onto it and wrapped up in a tackle close to the boundary line, going to be balled up once again. Ball up there underneath, and looks as if there's been a whistle blown in the ruck. It's going to be a free kick paid to Olds. So wants to send a long ball down the line, close to the boundary line. Wilson sitting underneath this one and eventually punched over. Hummocks just need to stop the bleeding here, it seems. They have just been smothered here in the second half of this second quarter. Quickly wrapped up in a tackle there was Studham. Quickly pushing his way out of the ruck. Well done there by Harkness, but couldn't get it anywhere. So Mallala get the ball back, going inside forward 50. Comes out the back, but a good mark taken in defence by the Eagles, and they'll get a chance to retreat once more. They send a long ball down up the wing, and there's the siren. Bring us to half-time. What an ebbing and flowing contest this had been. It was really close at the start of this one. It started out with 2 straight goals to Hummocks to bring the game back to 1 goal. It was a 6-point margin to Mallala, but then they just turned on the Jets from there, now out to a 37-point advantage. And some of the goal kickers in this one, Brad Wilson, undoubtedly one of the best players on the field. 3 goals to him so far. McMaw was 2 goals in the first quarter. Angus Mead Olds, the captain, converting on a goal, also been one of the best around the ground, and Jesse Trevor with a goal. 2 goals for Cody Duncan for the Eagles and 1 for Hocking, but it's been slim pickings for Hummocks Watchman so far. That'll bring us to half-time. We're going to go to a bit of a break, come back for all the second half action. Hopefully Hummocks Watchman can make this a bit of a closer game. Mallala Oval APFL game of the round. It's Mallala hosting Hummocks Watchman in the second versus third matchup. Really important for both these sides to try and get the win, of course, as I've mentioned. But right now it's Mallala with the advantage, up by 37 points on the Sportal scoreboard. 9-3 plays 3-2, 57 versus 20. But that doesn't really tell the full story. Hummocks have had an opportunity, although they haven't held a lead at any point of this contest. You know, they were within 6 points at the 10-minute mark of the second quarter, and then it was an onslaught of goals coming from Mallala. They just turned it on. There were goals there, starting with Mead, Olds, Wilson converting on his third goal, Angus kicking a goal, and finished off by Trevor at the 24-minute mark of the second quarter. Now winding themselves out to a 37-point margin. My name's Lewis McKenna. We've got Dino on the camera. Really entertaining game, this one, and could almost really put the side in the box seat for that qualifying final in a few weeks' time. We've still got about 6 or 7 weeks to get to that point, but this is the last time these two sides will face each other, so being second versus third. And really important that Hummocks don't want to try and drop their second game straight as well. They lost to Virginia, and Virginia have struggled in recent years, but getting themselves off the bottom of the ladder with a win by 3 points last week. And Hummocks, it must be noted, they flogged Mallala earlier in the season in round 3, 122-34. Some different faces in the team a few weeks down the track, and all of a sudden Mallala have flipped the script. So both teams ready to get back into it. Just as we saw an onslaught from Mallala, really the game can shift on its head at any point. And you would expect some sort of response here from Hummocks to be able to at least try and convert on the first couple goals of the game, and then all of a sudden they might find themselves back into it. So back in the middle, third quarter, about to get underway. Umpire holding the ball aloft, and the siren sounds here at Mallala Oval. Ruckman stare at each other. Charging, gets knocked down here for Mallala, but the captain there inside in James Daly getting wrapped up quickly. Held up once more, getting knocked down inside. Daly getting the handball out into Yelland. Just stops, props, eventually gets smothered. A good smother there by the youngster in Wild Boar. Tries to fend off a tackle and called for holding the ball. So solid start there in the middle, and maybe held up there a little bit, Yelland, but thought there was an opportunity for a 25, but nothing paid. Has Redpath over the near side, but decides to just move slowly right across the opposite side of the ground and just surging their way back inside forward 50. A little bit of a 1-2. Now kicking it inside forward 50, trying to find a lead at the footy, but falling back with it, and a mark taken there by Dale King. Going long down. It's a 1-on-2 contest here favouring Mallala, and they're good enough to get the ball out. A little bit of Shepherd and a kick inside. Good little 45 ball into Heaslip. Handballing it over the top, Clements. Extra little ball, and look at Mallala go inside forward 50. Now they've got a 1-on-1 contest. Coming out the back, Wilson fighting it against McKay. Goes close to the boundary line. A little handball out from McKay into Taylor. And the whistle's been blown here. A free kick, I think, here going to Taylor. Just fell into the back there on the pain of 50. So Hummocks did well to stop the fast-flowing momentum of the Mallala Magpies. Taylor just bombs the ball down. Just falling under the fall of the ball there was Jack Heaslip, one of the better ones from Mallala today. He's been all around it. Good little ball in. Now wanting to bomb the ball up to the top of the goal square. Dangerous position here, falling out the back. Met it well, corralled it, falled around the body, snapping around his body, going close to goal, and maybe a free kick being paid here after the fact. So a chance here to try and convert for Mallala. Has to get pinned up against the boundary, unfortunately, and has to try and convert on a really tough opportunity. Believe this may be Wilson here as well. So Wilson trying to convert on his 4th goal of the contest. Certainly contender for the Archie's Thongs player of the game. Has to snap around on his left boot, puts it on its way. I think he's got it there. In fact, no, it's just been called for a minor score. So through for the first minor score of the third quarter. 58 plays 20. on the Sportal scoreboard. So just missing there, Wilson. As there's been a free kick paid here, going back the way of Mallala once again. So the youngster in wild ball, the Woodville West Torrens under 16, puts a dangerous ball inside forward 50, and a brilliant kick it was in the end. Mark taken leading up at the footy, just falling right into his lap. And an opportunity to convert here for Jordan Clements. Pretty well straight in front. Only has to kick it all of about 30 metres. Clements on his way in, just puts it straight over the goal umpire's hat. So Jordan Clements in for his first goal of the afternoon. And Mallala just continue to blow out their lead now out to 44 points. Well and truly a game high. And they have now just keep kicking goals just to keep ticking it over. 64 plays 20 on the Sportal scoreboard. They have just flipped the script here from their earlier result in the season against Hummocks. And inside the first 4 minutes of this one, Clements with his first goal. So Jordan Clements, interestingly enough as well, has been named in the best every single week of the season. Just ripping it out and going inside forward 50 there is Harkness, the vice-captain. Wasn't a really good ball to anyone's advantage, but a really solid pickup by Daly, just surging his way through. Balks one, handballs it off, and a slinging tackle there on Redpath as the umpire comes in and says, I'm going to ball it up. Maybe an argument either way there for holding the ball or a sling tackle, but probably fair to just call it 50-50. Underneath, gets knocked down in front, and Daly trying to surge his way onto it, just crashing through and wrapping up in a tackle. Causes the ball to spill free. Maybe just got his shoelaces on it there underneath, hacking a ball up, still staying inside the forward 50 here, and underneath it, right underneath there was Studham. It was either a mark or a free, and I think it was a free paid here to Studham, just a little shepherd off the ball. So he gives himself a little bit of room, just puts it up close to goal. Has he got it all the way there? He has. Brilliant kick from Studham. Puts through his first goal of the afternoon, now has 15 for the season. And a really important goal there. They break the rot there, Hummocks Watchman. Now back to a 38-point margin. It's their first goal in quite some time, since the 10-minute mark of the second quarter. So back to 38 points, 64 plays 26. And a very quick response there, it must be said, for Hummocks. This becomes the third goal scorer here for Hummocks. 2 for Duncan, 1 for Hocking to join Joshua Studham. In the middle here, and a whistle's been blown right off. Maybe a free here off the ball, so just encroaching, breaking the 6-6-6 rule. And Mallala get a chance, hurling it inside, quickly taking the mark. It was Tippett's, got tackled, maybe should have been called holding the ball. They get the ball anyway, Hummocks, and chip the ball inside, but just put it into the lap there of Heaslip, couldn't take the mark. Handballs it out wide, now moving inside there is Dale King, hacking a ball around his body, ball bouncing, falls into dispute, comes out the back, going in towards goal and eventually put through. I believe that might have been Brad Wilson once again. Converting on yet another goal. Going inside forward 50. They just did everything they possibly could there, Mallala. And connecting on another goal there. I'm just confirming who that was. I believe it might have been Wilson, and it most certainly was. So Wilson in for his 4th goal of the game for Mallala, now moving to 70. And disappointing there for Hummocks just to give away yet another goal. Wilson with 4. Moves to 27 goals on the season. And a 44-point advantage once again, equal game high. 7 minutes gone in the third quarter. Underneath, gets knocked down in front, and look at him surging through there, but wrapped up in a tackle with Sam Angus. Underneath once again, Ruckman go at it, gets knocked down here for Hummocks. Underneath, trying to get the little handball out there was Noddle. Falls out the back of the pack. Jesse Trevor there, just getting a little soccering ball out. Once again, it's Jack Heaslip in amongst it. Just falls through his hands, falls into the lap there of Archie Yelland, wrapped up in a tackle. I believe this may have been called holding the ball. Brilliant work there from Heaslip. Just a high energy player. Certainly one of the best here for Mallala this afternoon. Has a couple rolling around him. Doesn't look overly confident about this one, and understandably so. He has to kick this all of about 50 metres. So sends it on its way. It's going to go close. Looks like it's got the distance and does, but just falls through for a minor score. Does Heaslip. So another behind here as they pile on the score. Through for a minor score. Mallala leading by 45 points. As Hummocks move it to the outer side, but they've turned the ball over once again. And once again, the Magpies going inside forward 50, falling at the back, and a mark's taken. So underneath, just falling away with it. It's Wilson once again, just dominating this contest. Tucked up against the boundary, so certainly a tricky opportunity. But for a goal kicker like him, trying to convert on his 5th goal here, you wouldn't put it past him. And this to really just about put the game to bed, you'd think. Wilson has the left peg, so it's a tricky kick for him. Puts it up close and does go through for a goal. How about that kick close to the boundary? I was watching the goal umpire shuffling about, but eventually gets it through. And Wilson now with 5 goals. Just absolutely dominant in this contest. Now out to 51 points. Well and truly put this game to bed here early in the 3rd quarter. Mallala, they've come out with energy. 77 plays 26 on the Sportal scoreboard. Just brilliant work by Wilson up forward. 5 goals for him. Now moves to 28 goals on the season. And just continues on his merry way. 3 players actually come into this game with 23 goals. Duncan was one of those. He's kicked 2. Jamie Kovacic is another one. Hasn't converted on a goal here. In fact, I haven't seen him out there, so very good chance he may have been out. So Hummocks now, chance to go inside forward 50. Just balks around the mark and does well enough to go inside forward 50. Diving to take the mark, wasn't paid. Underneath there was Bates. Trying to barge his way through a tackle, does well. A little handball out through the lap of Siegmund. Trying to hack the ball out there, Studham. Ball's now in dispute. King bobbles through his hands, picked up eventually. Little handball out the back. Couldn't quite pick it up there underneath was Trevor, but eventually gets it. Just hacks it around his body, but that's going to go out of bounds on the full right here in front of the camera. So an opportunity here for Hummocks to go back inside forward 50 through Walker. Little chipping ball outside. Heaslip goes back through the corridor. Maybe just trying to control the pace here a little bit, Hummocks. Has an option over the top and goes there now. So sees Hugh Walker and eventually taking the uncontested mark with Atkins closing in. So decide to go now. Bit of a wobbling ball and eventually wasn't really the kick they were looking for, the Hummocks forwards. Was looking for Studham, but really nowhere in his vicinity. Little chipping ball, but they turn the ball back over. Yelland. It's about 60 from home on the mark is Olds. Just off one step, bombs the ball in. It's not really going to land in the lap of anyone, so a little fisting ball outside forward 50. Good solid pick-up taken by Trevor, and a good handball inside and picked up there by King. Hand pass it off to Olds, has to get rid of it quickly, and it's a good solid little chipping ball taken. And look to get to work quickly through Tippett's. Handballs the ball inside. Tiller going inside forward 50. They have a one-on-one contest. It's once again Miller, balks one, snaps around his body, goes towards goal. Has he got it there once again? No. Through for a minor score. In fact, that was Wilson. So Wilson through for a minor score. And now out to a 52-point advantage of Mallala. So Wilson Seems like Wilson's paddock there at the moment, just given all the space in the world to be able to do whatever he likes, and he may get another opportunity here as Mallala look to go back inside forward 50. But it's a little more flooded this time. Out the back and a mark taken. Almost uncontested in the end. Just taken over the top there, and I believe this is Olds. Just had the space out the back, was really left unmanned. Cale Olds, the captain, already has one so far here this afternoon. Has this one straight in front, only has to kick it about 30 metres. No breeze to speak of, shouldn't be a problem at all. And just pulls it a little bit. He hasn't quite got it there, so again through for a minor score for Mallala. Missed opportunity there for Olds, but had a fantastic game regardless. A 53-point advantage now for Mallala on the Sportal scoreboard. They look to go right up the middle here this time, Hummocks. Light, just comes off hands, but Mallala have the numbers to move it through hands. Comes out the back, a little dribbling ball, picked up by the captain here of Hummocks underneath, but snapped inside forward 50 here for Mallala. Tippets couldn't get there. Underneath, trying to break through a tackle, gets the handball out, snapping around the body once again. Underneath there, couldn't quite control the mark. Snapping around his body as he put it through for another goal. I believe he has. That's going to be his third of the game. Fantastic work there to get his third through McMaw. And Mallala just making the most of their opportunities. Yet another goal. And now 59-point deficit in this one for Hummocks. Really ugly for them. And of course now percentage really coming into this one. Not really required, you would think, for Mallala. They should sit quite comfortably in second spot and still some distance behind Two Wells. But it's going to become important for Hummocks sitting in that third position on the ladder as some teams start to breathe down their neck. But more importantly, a brilliant goal put through from McMaw. Had two in the first quarter, been a little quieter since, but hasn't really needed to do a lot with, especially the likes of Wilson getting to work. And look at him go once again. Tiller going back inside forward 50, popping it up in front of Wilson. Comes out the back, Olds, hand passes it off, has to get to work. Has he put through yet another goal? No, just through for a minor score, but he's around it once again, Wilson. He just keeps peppering the goals. He's second behind of the quarter. And now a 10-goal game. The 10-minute mark of the second quarter, it was just one goal the difference. They've just turned it on. So you think there's still about 10 minutes or so left here in this third quarter as they look to retrieve the ball from behind the goals. So limited inside 50 options here for Hummocks in the third quarter. They did kick a goal early on. A good mark, jumping up his red path. Did kick a goal early on through Studham, but really haven't had an opportunity outside of that. Good mark taken there by Hocking. Had an option over the top, but they quickly moved it around. Brilliant work to evade the tackle, Redpath. Just hands it off, and they have to dribble the ball up towards forward 50, but standing in the way there was Eckerman. Little chipping ball out to Olds. Olds on the right foot sees an option. Just over the outstretched hand, goes close to the boundary line. Tippett's there around it. Tries to balk around the tackle, maybe just got a handball in there. Picked up underneath, trying to balk his way through, but a whistle's been blown. It is going to be a free kick here to Hummocks Watchman. James Daly. Chips the ball across. Carslake. Move the ball right the way around. Chipping ball over the top is good and taken down after the mark, but Taylor will get up and get back to work. Goes long down the line, an uncontested mark, and they get a chance to go here, Hummocks. They have to bomb a ball close to the boundary line and trying to look for a teammate in Bateste, but just sprayed it out of bounds on the full. So Thorne for Mallala. As the ball's going to be brought back here, it seems. So maybe there was a free Maybe a 25 paid here, it seems. So just gives Mallala the opportunity to go back inside forward 50. Hacking a ball up, trying to find McMaw. Falls over the top. A good pick up there inside. Didn't give the first option, but was good enough to stay with it. Tries to handball the ball out there to Mead. There's been another whistle here blown. So looks like he was taken down illegally. Asher Mead. So close to the boundary here. Man on the mark. Maybe about 40 out, but tucked right on the boundary. So if he is going to have a crack at the goals, Mead, he did kick a goal earlier. He has to kick this all of about 45 metres. Doesn't look overly confident, so just skies one up into a dangerous position. Flying inside, gets knocked through hands. Underneath there, trying to get a hacking ball out towards goal. Players converging on it. Underneath, no player really able to get it out, and there's a bit of push and shove here behind the ball as well. You think Hummocks would want to try and get some players around this ball that aren't fighting and scrapping just to try and not bleed out another goal. Light went unmanned in the ruck. Got the tap down, but no player really able to be too advantageous with it. Underneath, a little handball out from the leading goal kicker in this game and taken down behind play. A bit of push and shove here. You can see players on the ground. Interesting to see where this free kick has been paid. Looks like it may be Mallala's going to obviously have a set shot opportunity here from about 45, but player taken down behind play. Just undisciplined stuff here from Hummocks Watchman, popping it up towards goal. Not going to quite get the distance. Comes out the back, through hands. Hummocks have the numbers to move the ball around now through Carslake. Chipping ball across, and they do compose themselves here. They come right across the other side. Mark taken. But it's this kick here. They've chipped across once. They look to go long down the line. You've got to at least create a 50-50 ball and not turn the ball over too easily. Coming over the top and couldn't quite take the mark. Now in dispute. Little handball over from Heaslip. Going back inside forward 50. Going close to goal. Has it got all the way? There it has. Ripping goal. Fantastic goal there from Jesse Trevor. What a ripping kick it was. Just read the play better than anyone else. Rolling inside, kicking his second goal of this game. Had it right on line all the way, and no players there for Hummocks Watchman to try and save the day. And they just keep marching out this margin. Jesse Trevor now with his 7th goal of the season, 2nd goal of the afternoon. And on the Sportal scoreboard, they're out to a 66-point margin. Just absolutely turned it on. It was 26-20 at one stage. Since then, 72-6. Just Mallala just turned the Jets on, and here they go once again, marching inside forward 50. A big bombing ball out the back. Is that going to travel all the way? It was just touched. It was a big kick coming from Jordan Clements from the midfield. Nearly travelled once again, but through for a minor score. 67 points the margin now. So now Hummocks moving it to the outer side. Picking it up underneath there was Olds, and his second effort was good. Extra handball out to Clements, and they move the ball out through hand really well. Extra little ball across. Chip and kick over the top, and as easy as you like, Atkins takes the mark. They were in this position just a minute ago. Couldn't quite convert from here, understandably. Tucked up against the boundary, has to kick it all of about 49 metres. Goes close to goal, he should have the distance. He did have the distance, and he has put it through. What a ripping kick. Fantastic kick there on the outer side there for Atkins. Puts through yet another goal. Mallala just keep it rolling over. 73 points now in front. And on the Sportal scoreboard now, 99-26. Just finding themselves in the right position at the right time. 22 minutes gone, they are just dominating this contest. And just filling up the score sheet. And even some of those players that haven't converted on goals are lining them up. Now converting on his first goal of the season there, Atkins. So ruckman go at it once again. Neither ruckman gets it too advantageous. They're underneath their Studham trying to clear himself out of the contest, but free kick's been paid here to Hummocks. Maybe it's a bit of holding on there without possession against Dale King. Going inside forward 50, leading up at the footy here, and a brilliant mark taken. Brilliant positioning there from Cody Duncan. There's not a lot of him, Cody Duncan, as a full forward, but his positioning is A1. And the limited opportunities he's had today, he's converted 2 goals so far here this afternoon, now trying to convert on his third. I mentioned before that he's one of those players that come into this game sitting in 3rd position in the goal-kicking list. And now trying to convert on his third. Gets it close there. Has it travelled the distance? It has got there for a goal. So, handy afternoon and a shining light here for Hummocks Watchman. 3rd goal for Cody Duncan. And just one against the flow here for Hummocks. Now bringing it back to a 67-point margin on the Sportal scoreboard. 99 plays 32. Seen a few goals there go really close to the goal line. Just carrying it over by a bit. The poor goal umpire has had a bit of decision making to do here this afternoon. But fortunately, with the score the way it is, it's not too much of a problem. Olds gets his hands on that, and look at him rip through there. Clements just uses his body well, and a little dribbling ball up. Good solid pick up there underneath. Once again getting to work the goal kicker in Trevor, handballing it out. Good solid tackle made once again by Trevor. What a brilliant few minutes he's having. He'll get another set shot opportunity. And they got around him as well. Seems to have his own fan club here at Mallala. Had 5 goals in the season coming into this one. Now looking to line up his 3rd goal of the afternoon. They're all lining up here at Mallala. This one, not too much angle to speak of. Only has to kick it about 35 metres. Jesse Trevor to break the 100 mark here for Mallala. And the Magpies are flying. They continue to build on this margin. 105 plays 32 on the Sportal scoreboard. Put down another goal for Jesse Trevor. And every single time, albeit limited, Hummocks have had an opportunity to try and kick a couple goals back to back. They've converted on a goal. It's just been Mallala responding within seconds. And it was brilliant work just surging out the middle, it should be said, by Jordan Clements as well. Just danced his way around the opponents, and he was the reason he could get the clearance inside forward 50. So siren should go in the next couple of minutes, you'd think, to sound out this 3rd quarter, and there'll be music to the ears of the Hummocks Watchman coaches. Going back inside forward 50, just met it at the feet, but did well to control it in the end, trying to turn out of it, but caught a bit high. So they'll go back inside forward 50 here through Samuel Clements. Just moves some players around, pops it up towards goals. A little bit of push and shove, bodies go falling to the floor. Little handball out the back, and Hummocks now to try and move it out through hand. They've done well here. They chip it right across the other side, and they get some uncontrolled. They get some controlled possession, I should say. So where do they go from here though, Hummocks? Had a short ball inside, they chip it to the outer side, and leading up at the footy, couldn't quite pull in the mark there was Harkness. And eventually goes over the boundary line to be hurled back in. Still inside Mallala's forward 50. Knocking it down in front was Light. Underneath there, Daly, and he's wrapped up in a tackle by Tiller. Umpire's going to ball it up again. Once again, thanking our streaming partners, Dartfish, Sportal. Sportal, the scoreboard, classic catches, filming footy as Mallala going back towards goal, and a mark taken once again by McMahon. He has been really impressive so far in this one. Had 2 first quarter goals and the game was still on the line. And just reaping the rewards right now. McMahon, a difficult shot here. Tucked up against the boundary. Right foot just has to dab one 20-25 metres and does go through for a minor score. So 106 plays 32 on the Sportal scoreboard. 74-point advantage for Mallala. There's Hummocks. Chip a ball over. Mark's taken in the middle and they look to go through the corridor. Big bombing ball now to a one-on-one contest, trying to fall out the back. Couldn't quite take the mark there. It was Carslake. In fact, Harkness, I should say. And a free kick's been paid. They switch it right to the outer side here. So the youngster, what can he do? Wild ball in a one-on-one contest. Trying to evade his way around. He did well. Eventually gets back onto it. Second effort. Just dribbles the ball out the back through hand. Underneath there, picking up the ball was Atkins, but he was quickly wrapped up in a tackle. And there's the siren to bring us to the end of the third quarter. What was a dominant quarter for Mallala, just like the second quarter as well. They come into halftime with a 37-point margin. They have now stretched that out to 74. And what an incredible quarter they've had here. Just absolutely turned it on. We'll talk about some of the goal scorers when we come back for the fourth quarter, but we're going to go to a break. Fourth quarter action, APFL Game of the Round coming right up. and a bunch of players there underneath. No player able to get it out. Eventually it does come out and he's picking it up, but he is picked up. So, going to ball it up here, back in the centre. Underneath, little fist over the top there from Jesse Trevor. Little handball over the top. King.
Oh, what?
I'll keep going.
Yeah.
On the outer side, and a whistle's been blown. Underneath, and a little tap out the back for Hennessy, and wrapped up in a tackle. Apologies if you experienced any technical difficulties there. Mallala, of course, doesn't have the sort of service that the inner city suburbs have, but we're enjoying it out here, and you see the backdrop, the beautiful canopy of trees behind Mallala Oval. Little handball over, and trying to rip through there was Trevor, just fell through hands. Underneath there was McMorr, but ripping through here, Hummocks couldn't quite get it, and they do get a free kick in the end. Little chipping ball through the corridor, got smothered. Just trying to get a little handball out the back, and did well there in the end, Atkins. Extra little handball over the top. Baker just chipping it inside, and still ball in dispute. Clements to the outer side. And now going inside forward 50 out the back. Good body work there underneath. Tippett's now rolling in. Little kicking ball out, and good leading mark taken. Brad Wilson, opportunity from straight in front to try and convert once again. 5 goals already here this afternoon. He has caused havoc up forward for Mallala, and certainly a contender for the Archie Thongs player of the game. Rolling inside now, only has to kick it about 40 metres. Has all that distance and more, and just fades away through for a minor score. So, fourth quarter gets underway with just the solitary behind there for Mallala. 107 plays 32 on the Sportal scoreboard. As Hummocks just seem to get a little stagnant in this position, so they have to send a long ball out, but Trevor's closing in, but good solid mark taken by Walker, composed. Chipping a ball over the top, inside the corridor, and diving to the ground, taking the mark there was Harkness, handing the ball off and going inside. Had to dive underneath, out the back now, turning one way, handballing the ball over the top, running into open goal, and Hummocks will be able to convert here through Josh Batteste, but has he missed? Oh, wow, what a miss. I cannot believe that. He has missed the easiest of goals. Never in my time have I seen an easier goal missed. There you go, Mallala quickly just to rub salt into the wounds, but there has been a whistle blown. They have to quickly bring the ball back. I think a free kick's actually been paid here to Hummocks. So behind there. And wow, that is incredible. I actually, to be honest, put my head down. I thought, yep, he's got that. He was in the goal square. The whistle's been blown and brought right back. So Mallala with a 75-point advantage, it reads right now. Or 74-point advantage, I should say. And slowly it comes back. So, rolling in, has a shot on goal, putting it up close to goal, and as he snuck it through, no, just through for a minor score for Hummocks. So, another one on the board. So after a little bit of confusion, we're back to normal. 107 plays 34 on the Sportal scoreboard. 4 minutes gone. So going back inside here, Hummocks controlled a little bit more of the ball here early in the fourth quarter. Out the back there and snapping around his body, going close to goal, but saving the day there on the goal line was Riley Thorne. Just chips the ball to the outer side, over the top there, Olds, but corralled out the back. Hummocks now, the Eagles trying to move it through hand, just stands up through the tackle, handballs it over the top, snapping around the body, going back inside forward 50. It's a 2-on-1 in favour of Mallala, and solid mark taken by Thorne. Chips now to the outer side, Tippett's. Good little lateral ball just off the side of the boot, but floating across, taking the mark was Walker. Did play on a step off his mark, so has to pop it up to the top of the goal square. Falls over the back, comes off hands now. Turning around his body, snapping around his body. Has he put it through for a goal? No. Well, it is through for a goal, so just sneaks through. Brilliant work there for Hummocks. Converts on a goal, so much needed for the Eagles. Just a little bit of a confidence booster there to convert on that opportunity. So 107 plays 40 on the Sportal scoreboard. Mallala now with that 67-point advantage. So back in the middle, ripping it out of the ruck and going inside towards forward 50. Comes through hands there of Clements, falls forward. Now flicking it back, and Clements now to try and drop it back inside forward 50. Couldn't quite pick it up there, Trevor. And balled up here on the edge of the centre square. Trying to bumble a ball, knock it down in front, and then kicking it inside forward 50 was Atkins. Just eventually getting the handball out there inside, but wrapped up in a tackle quickly. So going to be balled up here, just a few metres away from the last. Underneath, just dropping the ball down in front and quickly wrapped up in a tackle once more. So a bit of the energy sapped out of this contest, it should be said at the moment. But Atkins rips the ball out of the contest, just balks around one. Comes out the back here, and good solid pick up with one hand, just snapping around his body into a dangerous position. Falling under the ball, couldn't quite take the mark was Clements. Handballs it out though. Snapping around and playing goalkeeper was Light. Did well. Just picked it up off the bounce, but good mark taken right on the paint of 50. Underneath there from Wild Ball. Pops it up into a dangerous position, climbing over the top, knocking it down in front. Underneath there is Olds. Couldn't quite get the tackle, and Hummocks now move it through hand. Hugh Walker, balking one, handballing it off. Now looking to get to work there, Tate Noddle. Chipping a ball over, but intercepted. Tiller, handballing it off. Through the corridor now, Clements. Puts it into a dangerous position into Olds, but couldn't quite pick it up off of his bootstraps. Now Daly, chipping it to the outer side. Underneath there, Duncan working his way up the ground. A couple little handballs over the top, eventually gets through. Now going inside forward 50, falling back with it, and brilliant, courageous work. Eckerman didn't take the mark, but will be credited there with a free kick. Chips the ball outside there to King. Drops one long down the line. Tiller sitting underneath this one. Duncan comes crashing over the top, working his way up the ground now, it seems, just to try to win a bit more footy. Kicked 3 goals so far in this one. So another one right here on this outer side. Underneath. Umpire circling, going to ball it up once more. Gets knocked down in front, quickly getting to work, a little handball out there, wrapped up in a tackle there as Tiller. And for about the 5th or 6th time in a row, we're going to get another ball up. Thank you to APFL's partners as well, of course, helping bring this stream to you. Viswater, Sports Powers, Orange Group, Sharon, Belgravia, Apparel, Synergy Signs, Mango Inc., McCracken, Ford, Balaclava, and the Plains Producer, the local newspaper here. And Mallala's partners, of course, do a fantastic job for community footy, helping the likes of this beautiful footy club in Mallala, Advanced Contractors, Gracewood, Elders Roseworthy, BTR Excavations, and Spence Dixon Co. As it's hurled in from the boundary line here. Olds couldn't quite get a tap on it. Handballed out the back. Quickly set upon there underneath. No player able to get clean possession. Hacked out from the back of the pack here for the Eagles and now dribbling up towards their forward 50. Falls out the back now, just dribbling the ball off towards goal. It's 2-on-2 contest here. Knocks down in front. Trying to get a loose ball. Just dribbles the ball out. Hummocks now have the numbers here. They've just got to find the space to snap around the body. Couldn't get good purchase on the ball. Now dribbling out close to the boundary line and last touch will go out here. Should be a free kick here from Mallala and is. Just couldn't be clean with the ball there, Hummocks. So it's Eckerman to go long down the line. Contest forming and knockdown in front. Looks as if this was going to be a ball up again, and in fact it's going to go close to the boundary line and eventually goes over. So hurled back in once again. No ruckman able to get it. Maybe thought there was a free kick there underneath. Daly's amongst it. Quickly hacked out there by Atkins. No player able to get loose ball, but eventually picked up well by Tiller. Little chipping ball there to the outer side, and McMahon takes the mark. Goes across one more kick there. One-on-one contest. Knocked down maybe without the footy. It's now going to be a foot race. One to it there. Done well there, Hummocks, to be able to get the ball free. Little handball over the top, and now retreating out of their defensive 50. Standing under it was Daly. Comes across the ground. Little chipping ball over the top. Been busy here in the second half here, Hugh Walker. Had plenty of the ball. Playing in this wing position. Just pops the ball into the corridor. Brilliant kick as well. Marked there by Jude. Has to go long inside forward 50. Leading up at the footy. Looked like a handy kick, but sitting underneath it there, the Mallala defenders. Couldn't quite take clean possession, so snapping around his body, going close to goal as he put it through. I reckon he has. Fantastic kick there. Under a bit of pressure, Henry Wright kicks his first goal of the afternoon, and a really impressive one there for Hummocks. Although this game is well out of reach for them, something to be happy about when they watch it back on the highlights, no doubt. 107 plays 46 on the Sportal scoreboard. What's been a pretty slow-moving fourth quarter for both sides here, it must be said, but a bit of flash and flare there from Wright. Also in the top 10 of goal scoring coming into this round, at 18 goals coming into this one on the season, now moving to 19. Multiple goals in 6 games, 6 out of the 9 games so far this season. You think he still has about 15 minutes or so here to try and keep that number rolling over. Underneath there, quickly getting wrapped up in a tackle there was Samuel Clements. Olds knocks it out. A little hacking ball out there from Clements. Underneath was Atkins, good enough to get the handball out. Now Tiller rolling inside forward 50, one-on-one behind the play here. Just falls into space and quickly wrapped up by McMahon. Nearly ripped the ball out in time, but the umpire's whistle beat him. Now about 20 metres out from Mallala's goal. Underneath, gets knocked down. A little hacking ball out from Clements, maybe taken without it, so he'll get a shot running into open goal. Thought he could get an easy one there out the back, but it's going to be called back here for Clements. Jordan Clements, I mentioned earlier, he has kicked a goal so far here this afternoon. He's been in the best players 9 out of 9 weeks in the APFL season. Probably without knowing everyone, I'd imagine there might be some 2 Welsh players in that conversation as well, but 9 out of 9 weeks is impressive work to be in the 4 or 5 best players for your side. Rolling into goal, puts it through. His second goal of the afternoon, and just keeps this margin ticking out now for Mallala. 113 to 46. Really impressive work there for Geordie Clements just to draw the free kick, and brilliant midfield craft from him. So Clements with his second. Not a big goal kicker on the season, just his 8th goal. But got it done here this afternoon. So 113 plays 46 on the Sportal scoreboard. 15 minutes gone. Going back inside forward 50, leading up at it. Couldn't quite pull down the mark there was Trevor. And done well there, Trevor. They get around him every time he does something. He's done plenty here. Olds uses his body well in the ruck and gets the tap out. Picked up well there underneath by Studham. Just works his way through the corridor and looks like he was taken down after it. So it's going to be a downfield free. Just a few metres further down the field, but gives Mallala enough time to retreat. And good kick to the outer side. So, looking for a few options here. Just bombs one long down the line. Climbing up above the pack, couldn't quite rip it down. No one could. So, a little bombing handball over the top here from Eckerman. Mallala good enough to stay with it. Falling across the front was Trevor. Comes out the back, Daly, maybe a little bit of a falcon there on Tippets. Goes back inside forward 50 here for the Eagles. Few players underneath this one, comes off hands, falls to the floor. Underneath, Olds, little handball out, gets it back for a 1-2. Decides to take a bounce as a big ruckman, you don't see that all the time. Little handball over the top and the Magpies just move their way through to the outer side. Underneath it there was McMahon, but he's got Hummocks, Eagles all the way around him. Crashing through the contest there, trying to rip one out there. Mallala. Every player stopped there, maybe thought there was a free, but nothing paid. And taking the mark was right. Kicked a goal earlier in this quarter. Just drops one inside forward 50. Brilliant kick. Good lowering of the eyes. And Hummocks have just turned it on a little bit more here in this quarter. Now, I will be completely honest with our listeners. I don't have a number 8 listed here for Hummocks Watchman, but he's been quite good here in the fourth quarter. This actually will be a chance to kick his second goal of the quarter. Been really impressive late stages of this one. Pops it up, but it is fading off to the left. Through for a minor score. So 113 plays 47 on the Sportle scoreboard. 17 and a half minutes gone in this one. And look to quickly move at Mallala. Have an option over the top. He sees one there in Thorn, but it comes off the side of the boot. Underneath, nearly ripping down the mark there was Heaslip. He just goes for a ride on top of Daly. A few laughs had around the ground after that one. No free kick paid. Underneath. Just ball dribbles out and eventually just hacking the ball around. Only goes about 25 metres, 25 up, 25 down. Ripping through is Tiller, just gets his shoelaces on it. Well done, picked up by Heaslip, handing it off. Trevor rolling into open goal, sprays it off the side of his boot and goes out of bounds. Of course, last touch by Mallala. He's got a fan base here, Trevor, and understandably so. So they move it to the outer side to Hummocks. Gets knocked down underneath there, maybe taken without it. The youngster, Daly, picking it up, handballing it out to the outer side. Has to try and move the ball quickly. Underneath there, Clements finds it, handballs the ball back out. Good work to go back inside forward 50 and the kick coming through Baker. Falling underneath and a good courageous mark taken by Yelland. Chipping the ball out and uncontested mark taken by Walker. Goes long down the line, so it's a one-on-one contest and a bit of a foot race to the ball. Awkward bounce to try and control here for Studham. Met quickly underneath there. Free kick's going to be paid here underneath. Did well there, the Mallala wingman. Chipping the ball through the middle there was King. Could have gone back to King, but just chips the ball over the top. Heaslip. Hand passes off to King, going inside forward 50. Sees an option out the back. Climbing over was Wildboar. Tries to balk around one. Does get there. Little chipping ball into the corridor, but just dribbles one in. They have the numbers here to try and move it. And they do well here, Hummocks, to go through the corridor. Duncan goes long to the outer side. Comes out the back. Good mark taken, and they've got some space to work. Going inside is Siegmund. Close to goal. One-on-one contest out the back. Mark taken. Going to snap through yet another goal. That's our man there, number 8. We haven't got a name attached to him, but he's done quite well. Converted on a couple goals here in the fourth quarter. There's something to hold their head high a little bit about. Now back to 60 points. 113 plays 53 on the Sportle scoreboard. 20 minutes gone in this one. Now, I have just dragged it back. The margin did actually get out to 74 points at the start of this fourth quarter. So they've definitely won the quarter. And they've made it more of an interesting contest to bring this one home. Underneath, getting knocked down in front there and trying to rip through the tackle. Did well was Redpath. But they just fall into the lap of Dale King, snapping around his body. Underneath it was Tippett's, controlled it well. Had a handball option over the top, but decides to compose himself and go inside forward 50. Couldn't quite pull in the mark, was McMaul, just found himself a little more open than he expected. A little handball off and smothered well. They keep it inside forward 50, do Mallala. Angus did well, quickly wrapped up in a tackle there. Once again, it's Heaslip. And about 40 from goal, they'll ball it up here on the near side. Ruckman to go at it once again, tap down well, so Taylor trying to walk his way through and just drop the ball. That was Angus, in fact. So, Duncan playing in defence now. Goes long down the line, falls, beats all, comes out the back and well picked up there underneath by Hocking. Just bombs the ball long down the line, leading up at the footy and well weighted. Good mark taken once again. So has to find an option going inside forward 50. Just shanks it off of his boot. Goes close to the boundary and eventually saved, maybe just getting a hand on it there, was Siegmund. In fact, he couldn't get to it in time. So a little chipping ball over the top here for the Magpies. Clements, Samuel. Popping the ball over the top there. And a bit of contact there on Cody Duncan. Certainly been one of Hummocks' best. Chips the ball in. Has Cody Duncan running past him. I would have thought he might have given it to the goal scorer. Taylor pops the ball up into a dangerous position. Good mark. And it's our man once again. Finds himself in the right position at all time. Looking for his third goal of the quarter here as well. Just done a brilliant work here in the last quarter. Hummocks to win it. To get back into the contest in some regard. Not obviously as far as winning and losing goes, but just to show a little bit of spirit and fight. Something to take into training on Tuesday. And lining up a goal here right in front. Only has to kick it about 35 to 40 metres with the left peg. Goal umpire does not have to move a muscle as they put through yet another one. Impressively, 3 goals in the quarter for our man number 8. We will try and chase down his name eventually, but 113 to 59 on the Sportal scoreboard. Now back to a 54-point margin. We haven't seen a margin that low since about the 13-minute mark of the third quarter, so they have dragged it right back late in this one. 23 minutes gone here in the fourth quarter. It is all said and done. Could have well and truly been a larger margin. We're also almost looking at 100 points with the way that Mallala were rolling. A little handball out. Trying to go inside forward 50 once again, a one-on-one contest. There's Duncan underneath, nearly ripped down a mark in defence. Little dribbling ball to the outer side and Bates does well, just dribbles the ball out, crashing through the contest. Did extremely well there, crashing through Quinn Mackay. Again, wrapped up in a tackle there, Hummocks Watchman. They'll go back inside forward 50 here. Did well there, Clements. Geordie Clements, one of the better midfielders rolling around in this competition. Finds a ball out the back, couldn't quite control the mark there, Jack Heaslip. And there's the final siren. Comprehensive victory here for Mallala, as there's a bit of push and shove here after the final siren. Not very often you see that after the fourth quarter is over. And the umpires get around it, but it is a 113 to 59 point victory here. There is still a little bit of push and shove here in the handshakes even. Not happy about it at all. They're still having a bit of words back and forth. 113 to 59, comprehensive 54-point victory here for Mallala, and they turned the script. I mentioned before that it was Hummocks Watchman winning by 88 points earlier in the season. It was their largest win of the season. So they have flipped the script on that. 17-11, 113 to 9-4-54. The goal kickers in this one, of course, Trevor with 3, Olds with 1, Atkins with 1, Clements with 2, Jordan Clements that is, Mead with 1, Angus with 1, Brad Wilson with 5 and McMaw with 3. And for Hummocks Watchman, it was Henry Wright with 1, Cody Duncan with 3, Brody Hocking with 1 and Joshua Studham with 1. And it was our man number 8. We didn't quite get his name. He kicked 3 in the last quarter as well. Super impressive for Hummocks. We're going to go to a little bit of a break. We will have the presentation of the Archie Songs Player of the Game. So hang right with us and we'll be back in a few moments. Well, g'day footy fans, we're back here with the Archie Songs Player of the Game, Brad Wilson. He had 5 goals here this afternoon, including 2 in the first quarter when the game was on the line. Did extremely well. He now moves to 28 goals on the season as well. You come into this one tied for 3rd spot depending on how the other games went. Pretty handy game from you though, mate.
Yeah, it's pretty nice, especially when, well, you said we kicked 17 goals, 11, so we had a few shots at goal. So it's nice when it comes in nice and clean, but yeah, doesn't always go that way.
I was really impressed with a couple of your midfielders, especially your ruckman Olds. He's a fantastic player. First time for me commentating you guys. He was really impressive as well as Jordan Clements. I think I've noticed he's been named in the best players 9 out of 9 weeks. They were contending you for these thongs, but you just beat them out, mate.
Yeah, you're probably talking about 2 of the better players in our team, and probably 2 of the better players in the comp. Yeah, Olds is a gun. He's not that tall, but he looks like a mid when he runs around, and yeah, Clemo's an absolute freak. Like, you won't get a better country footballer that I've seen, so...
Yeah, well, I looked at Olds. I thought he most certainly wouldn't fit into these, mate, so that probably helped your case of winning him out. But a really important win for you guys. You're sitting in 3rd place most of the season so far. Hummocks obviously losing last week, now 2 weeks in a row. You're now sitting nicely in 2nd spot.
Yeah, massive really in the context of the season. Yeah, we'll take any win we can get at the moment. Yeah, starting to count as well when we get to the point into the season, so...
A lot of momentum needed to take on the Roosters maybe later in the year, mate, but really well done to you. Some Archie Songs for you, mate. Super comfortable stuff, and thank you very much, our player of the game. Thank you so much, footy fans. Brilliant having you here this afternoon. That'll see us out for the rest of the afternoon. We'll be back next week with more action.